Hey folks, glad you could join us on yet another conversation on Business Redefined. As always, this is your weekly most comprehensive look at the world of business, finance, and economics. This time we're shifting focus to the conversation on digital payments and the ecosystem around it in Kenya, in East Africa. And we're privileged to have Judy Waroiro, who's the regional MD, I should say, for Network International, focusing on the East African market. Judy, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Help us understand, for those who might not have context, who is Network International, what do you do, and especially within the digital payment space?
So in a nutshell, we are a payment service provider. We've been in the market for 30 years, but in Kenya, we've been for 20 years as DPO Pay. We provide payment solution to businesses, whether they're SMEs or enterprises. So we remove the headache of a business to look for payments. We simplify it. This means whether it's online, on your shop, in store, we are able to provide you payment solutions as a business.
All right. And the ecosystem as we speak, we of course are in a market which has a heavy penetration as far as mobile money is concerned. How do you then come into that environment and what solutions do you offer?
Kenya in particular, we have an internet penetration of 48%, mobile money 80% penetration, and interestingly 80% penetration on smartphone. It's one of the markets with the highest smartphone penetration. So with this kind of trend, what you're seeing is there's a mobile first commerce adoption, which means that most people, their first introduction to transacting is on a mobile phone. Yeah. So because of that kind of trend, the consumer is starting to ask for convenience. Yeah. They want to have fast speed. Speed is of essence. So for a business as ourselves, we then need to meet a business to ensure that they're serving this consumer on speed, convenience, and trust.
Yes.
When I say trust, it's about security. You want to ensure that whatever payment mode you're using, it's secure and your money is secure. Yeah. So for us, we look at it that way. Are we relevant in the market? Are we providing the relevant solutions? And are we able to meet the business where they're meeting the consumer when it comes to payments?
Considering the spectrum of clients you're dealing with, you did mention SMEs, you mentioned large enterprises.
Correct.
Are the solutions you curate for the two the same? Are there nuances for SMEs which are not particularly found in the large enterprises and vice versa?
Yeah, the interesting part with SMEs is you get different sizes of SMEs. So you could get the mature SMEs, which we call medium-sized SMEs. Those are a bit more mature and grown and established, and they have structures in place. But we also work with SMEs that are startups. And these startups could be just a business that wants to start up online on an Instagram shop or TikTok. And they literally don't know how to receive payments, and maybe they want to approach an international market. Yeah. So for such a business, we walk them through how to seek compliance, how to integrate into things like shopping carts so that your product is on display, and how to receive payments. So what does that mean? If you're a startup today, you just go and register your business and then you open an Instagram. It's very easy. Yeah. What then you do is, how do you receive money? Say you're selling shea butter. Yeah. How do you have a target audience? How do you ensure that your product is visible? So we're able to provide tools to such SMEs along with payments. So I usually say Network International, we are a technology provider. Okay. So we'll just not provide you a payment, which is M-Pesa or card. We'll provide you a whole boutique of payment options in one solution. Okay. So what does that mean? You'll have, as a shea butter shop, you'll be able to display your product on a shopping cart. We integrated to 12 shopping carts, Shopify, Equid, there are multiple of them that are available. Once you display your products, you'll have a very simplified checkout, you'll have a stock management option, and because of all that, then your business is ready to scale.
Yeah.
Just not locally, but internationally. You'll accept mobile money, you'll accept card payments.
What about QR?
QR, interesting. QR is a product we launched last year, where you scan with your phone. What we know for QR today is you scan and you get to our website. For us, you scan and you're able to make a transaction. And that when we launched QR, we were looking at these micro SMEs that would not be able to have a PDQ machine.
Yeah.
Because getting a PDQ machine is, you need to have a certain kind of revenue levels.
Yes.
Where an SME, say a lady in a Maasai market, and she wants to receive card payment from a tourist who's come to buy her artifacts, how would she receive that? So for us, the QR code solution was something that we thought would work for such an entrepreneur. By providing the QR code, the tourists would be able to scan with their phone and pay with their card.
Yeah.
A Kenyan would also be able to scan with their phone and pay with M-Pesa. So you get a push SDK, push payment on your phone. So we're able to meet each entrepreneur
At their level.
At their level.
Yeah.
Whether you're a lady selling curios in Masai Mara to a tourist, you can collect all forms of payment. And whether you're a big enterprise running multinational branches in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, because we are also across Africa in 57 markets, we are able to offer you solutions as a business enterprise as well. So that's how we scale our solutions.
You know, I used to think that Kenya was really advanced in digital payments until I traveled to India.
Yes.
And I've got a couple of questions on this. The first one is, how come QR payments and tap and pay isn't such a thing in Kenya? Because even if you go as nearby as Tanzania, QR payments has traction. We don't seem to have that here. Is it a culture issue? Is it the first mover advantage of mobile money? Or what's really at play here?
Yeah, I think we first adapted quickly to mobile money. So it has been very convenient. If you look at other markets, we were the first adapters on mobile money. So for us, mobile money has always been convenient and it's easy to use. So QR addresses markets that have not been able to adopt to mobile money. So what is QR? You're scanning with your phone and able to pay. Or you can even tap with your phone to pay. But I think it's the next level. There's still an opportunity. As I mentioned, we had done a launch last year, and we targeted the micro SMEs. And what we realized is there was a big education gap in terms of understanding how QR works. If I tap, does that mean my money is secure? Does that mean, where has my money gone to? Because I tapped on a phone. I didn't tap on a PDQ. I didn't use M-Pesa.
Yeah.
So there's an issue of trust, there's an issue of education, but I think QR is the next big thing. The beauty about QR, based from the regulator, there's a lot of what was launched by the central bank, is to ensure that the QR standards are met, which includes interoperability, so that QR is just not specific to
one player.
Yeah. Any player can play in that QR, and you can scan and pay as a consumer to any player neutrally without saying this player or that player.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, nowadays I really wonder whether mobile money is as easy as we think. Because look at this process. I go to an app, I enter till or pay bill number, I enter account number, I enter amount, I enter my PIN. Elsewhere, you simply do this and it's out. You've paid. So even from the convenience perspective, I always wonder whether we really are at the level we perceive ourselves to be, and whether we are just missing the curve, because other jurisdictions are launching after us in terms of national QR code standards and actually moving ahead of us.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, there's a need in those markets that was not addressed. So then
Yeah.
QR addresses that need. Whereas for us, that need was already addressed by mobile money. Now, the journey is something that I would say at Network, we are able to provide a seamless mobile money journey. You don't have to enter numbers
Across multiple stages.
across multiple stages. So what we've launched with our PDQ machine
Yeah.
is you can accept card payment and you can accept mobile money. So when it comes to mobile money, we send you, the customer, a push payment. So all you do is just enter your PIN. So the push payment has the price or whatever the amount you're paying, and also the organization that you're paying to.
Yeah.
So it shortens the journey for the consumer, and you just put a PIN. So imagine in a supermarket how that would reduce the queues
Yes.
of people having to open their phone.
And shout their numbers.
Yes. Yes, yes. So that's a solution because we looked at that as an issue, and especially one of our customers was like, "Oh, this works so well because I have female customers and they
Yeah.
don't like giving their numbers out.
True.
So the fact that I can just push an SDK to them, then it means then that person or the attendant would have the number.
Okay.
Yeah. So it brings privacy.
Okay. We can't have this conversation without touching on the concept of a national switch,
Yeah.
which really undergirds the entire conversation we're having. What is it? Why is it important? And increasingly, why are we hearing this conversation being had?
A national switch is very important for any country. And what we're seeing across Africa is most of the regulators are working towards building a national switch. Why? With a national switch, one, it protects the payments in the country because it then ensures that there's localization. Whereby if you transact with a card, it goes internally within the switch. It's not going outside. If you transact mobile money, it's internal. If you do a money transfer, it's internal. So everything is then controlled within the borders of a country, and you're not relying outside the borders of that country to process your payments.
Yeah.
So that's one. The second thing is it brings in affordability. What does that mean? Because then it's local, you're able to control the cost of switching.
Yeah.
Then it enables inclusivity for the person who's not able to afford the payments that we say, because payments can be very expensive. For a business, if you don't look at your payment costs,
Yes.
you'd be surprised how it can be very expensive. But with the national switch then, because then it's controlled within by one neutral party, then you're able to bring down the costs. It brings interoperability as well, which is very key. What does that mean? It means whether it's a mobile money player, whether it's a bank, whether it's a fintech, they're able to connect to this switch, and I don't need to consistently think about how much will I pay if I move from this network to that financial institution. What are the costs? Is it cheaper to move from this? No, you'll pay one fee across because it's all controlled in one central switch.
Okay.
So for me, it brings in affordability, interoperability, and convenience, and also, I'd say, security.
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe help us now contextualize this. Today, if I walk into a shop
Yeah.
and I use my card to pay, how does that payment channel work? And how would it work if we have a national switch? I think that will help us understand it better.
Okay, so if you use a card today, so you run it through a PDQ, you tap or you enter your PIN, that transaction goes into the bank and goes outside Kenya into an international switch, comes back into that PDQ to approve. So of course there's a few players. There's the issuer who issued the card.
Yes.
There's the acquirer who's acquiring that transaction. And then there is the schemes who do the switching of that transaction. So it has to go cross-border. And what you see is because of that cross-border transaction and the fact that it's not controlled within the borders of a country, it means that in the event a country is sanctioned or anything happens at that country, then that player that's doing the switching can shut you out and rendering those payments irrelevant. So when you have your own local, then you control. It means that even though you're sanctioned, you still continue. And you're seeing this in markets like Nigeria, they have their own national switch. India has their own national switch, where all payments are channeled internally within the borders. And that then means you're able to grow your digital payment adoption, because then it's affordable, it's secure, and it's easy to use.
There's a word you have used recurrently, and Kenyans have had it increasingly quite often, and I think it's important we just elaborate on it. Interoperability.
Yes.
What is it in payments? Why is it important? We've had a lot of push, especially for the mobile money players, to be interoperable. What does that mean?
Interoperability basically means that I can move money from one player to another easily.
Frictionless.
Frictionless.
Yeah.
If you look a few years back, just a couple of years, not even a few years, a couple of years back, you could pay from one mobile network to another.
Yeah.
You are closed within a loop, within that mobile network. So that's when then the interoperability became important, because why can't I pay another mobile network from this mobile wallet? So then that's what interoperability means. But then at the same time, you also have to look, what does that cost look like?
Yeah.
But then you also want to move money from my financial institution or my bank account into my wallet. I want to move money, and that's, I mean, it's around movement of money from one bank account to another bank account. How does that look? So interoperability then removes those barriers and makes it seamless for you to move money across. So you don't even have to think. I think today, the first thing you think about is, if I move from this network to this network, how much will it cost me?
What is the cost? Yes, yes.
Oh, that's expensive. Let me try. You don't have the same wallet as I have. Unai line.
Yes.
Yeah, because then the cost. So what interoperability does, it removes that barrier. It makes it frictionless, and it makes it affordable, because then the cost is standardized.
Yeah.
And also the technology enables you to move money across the different channels. So for us as a fintech, this is very important, because we are not agnostic to any operator or any financial institution. For us, we are trying to create convenience for the merchant, for the business, to accept payments regardless of which channel that customer wants to use, and to make it affordable.
You know, you preempted my next question, because I was going to ask you, given your positioning in the market, don't you feel like you're in crosshairs? Because some of these players want to be territorial.
Yes.
And you can see where they're coming from. But here you are, you literally want to disrupt that space.
Yes. For us, we put the business first, the customer. For us, our customers are businesses. So we put the business first. And we're like, how do we remove those barriers that are creating, either it's too expensive for you, or you're not able to offer the solutions your customer is asking. If the customer is based, say, in India or in China, how do they pay you? A bank transfer coming out of China, or the Eurozone, which is SEPA, takes days. How do we make sure that it's instant payment? So for us, we are always consistently seeking, how do we bring down the cost? How do you ensure you can be paid in any currency? So we support almost 32 currencies, multi-currency. How do you ensure that you can be paid in any currency? And even though you don't have a bank account in dollars, how do we ensure that you can receive dollars, but at the same time, we settle you in Kenya shillings?
Yes.
So we're removing any barriers and challenges that businesses face today when it comes to receiving money. Do you know how long, if I'm doing a trade today with Nigeria and I'm a Kenyan, do you know we have to go through US banks to move that money?
The settlement.
Yes.
Yes.
But yet we are both sitting in the same continent.
Yeah.
How do I remove that barrier? So thankfully there is
PAPS
that is removing that barrier. And I think we need to shout louder about that, because it's an for Africa and for African businesses, that then removes barriers. I can interchange between a Nigerian naira, Kenya shilling, without converting to dollar first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious now. So are you in any way involved with PAPS, or you're just a cheerleader like we all are, supporting it and saying yes, this is what Africa needs?
For us, PAPS is very important because, as I said, we enable businesses accept money, and
Yes.
it could be in any currency.
Yeah.
So for us, we are a partner, an integrator into PAPS to enable businesses then receive that naira at a lower cost, or Kenya shilling at a lower cost through the PAPS framework and technology that they have in place today. Yeah.
Okay. Security
Yes.
is something which, of course, always comes up whenever you're talking about digital payments. What safeguards have you put in place? What assurances can you give? Because, of course, and especially when we're talking about MSMEs, they're really concerned about the aspect of security, and in this age of cyber security especially.
Yeah. Yeah, security is definitely, you can't talk about payments without talking about security. And what we are seeing is with the adoption of AI, it's becoming, even the fraudsters are becoming even more aggressive at using all sorts of technologies, and mostly AI. So as a company, we've adopted AI for our security and machine learning. So what does that mean? It means we're able to identify trends that are anomaly. So it could be a transaction. So for example, you're a Kenyan merchant, we start seeing transactions coming out of a country in, let's say in Timbuktu, and we've never seen that kind of transaction. So that transaction would be flagged.
Yeah.
And because of that kind of system, so we've invested in the infrastructure, we've invested in the technology. We are PCI DSS certified as which means we are the highest level of certification for security in our systems. We have also a fraud team that works 24/7, monitoring transactions that get flagged. And then also, because we are using AI technology, then the AI is able to quickly adjust and say, okay, this transaction we cleared, so this trend seems okay. So it's able to adjust and say, because then a bit of the time we put human intervention, because the system can only do so much.
Yeah.
It could be a genuine transaction, but it has an anomaly, so the system flagged it. So what we do is we get, and that's why we have a team that works 24/7. They looked at what was flagged. They can call the customer, or they call the business and say, okay, we've seen this transaction. Do you know the customer? Give us some identification document. Give us supporting documents on that transaction. And based on that, we're like, okay, this is a genuine transaction. We clear it. Then immediately the machine learning and AI pick it up and say, okay, when we see this kind of trend, clear that transaction. And if you see this kind, maybe it was something that passed as a normal transaction, we later picked it as a fraudulent, then we adjust. So it picks the patterns, it's able to identify any anomalies. And because of that kind of technology that we are using, and supported by a human touch as well, then I would say we ensure that there's security on all our transactions.
All right. Judy, we're out of time, but I have to ask you this question. What do you see as the place of virtual currencies in this payments conversation? In Kenya now, we have the Virtual Asset Service Providers Act in place, took effect on November 4th, actually. And everyone is talking about this digital currency wallets and how they will fit into the payments ecosystem.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So I think they'll advance. So what you're seeing globally, there's a trend where stablecoin adoption is becoming quickly being adopted. And the reason is it's breaking a lot of the barriers in terms of the currency depreciation, in terms of the cost of moving money. So there's a lot of adoption to stablecoin. So with the Act enablement, and once we have the framework and guidelines on licensing the players and the exchanges, then we should see that picking up. Because if you see how markets like UAE, where my company is headquartered, Network International, that's where we sit, virtual currencies is a normal day business occurrence because it's regulated and they accept it. So I think it's in the benefit for businesses to see how do we utilize it to, as I said, for us it's around how do we simplify it for businesses to trade, to receive money, to pay out money. How do we simplify it? So for us, it's a space that we want to play in once we have the legal framework in place, because we've seen how it's really benefited markets and businesses.
Are you seeing many use cases, by the way? Because many Kenyans will ask me, in any given room, if you ask how many of us have virtual wallets, like 2 out of 10 have. And they ask, then why is that penetration so low? Do you see use cases around in Kenya?
I think because there is no much regulation around it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I wouldn't have a use case per se. But I think now that we have a framework, then we should start seeing that. But for me, I see there's a lot of benefit for it, but within a regulated environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final question. If I'm thinking about digital payments, why should Network International be top of mind for me?
Because for us, we put the business at the heart of everything we do. That's our SME and our enterprise clients. And every solution we build is based on how do we make it affordable for you? How do we ensure that you're not thinking about payments? Because that's our headache.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that your business is growing? That when you want to expand, how do we make sure that you have the right solution, you have the right technology, you're secure, and that your customers trust you when they transact with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've been having a conversation with Judy Warrero from Network International on the subject of digital payments across the entire spectrum, be it about convenience, interoperability, safety, and emerging trends, including what we're seeing with virtual wallets and what that potentially means for digital payments. We have also touched on the subject of currencies and the fact that the Pan-African payment system is seeking to revolutionize what we are seeing in this landscape. We shall continue highlighting these issues as and when they emerge. So keep it business redefined.